Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and something just didn't feel quite right? Maybe it was a strange heaviness in your arm, or your legs didn't feel steady like they usually do. Perhaps your words didn't come out the way you expected, or your vision wasn't as sharp as it was yesterday. It's easy to brush off these things, especially as we get older. We often tell ourselves, I probably just slept wrong, or maybe I'm just a little tired today. But sometimes our body is trying to tell us something important, and we miss the message because it doesn't come with sirens or flashing lights. That's why this video is so important. Today, we're going to talk about 6 specific signs that might show up right when you wake up. Signs that should never be ignored. These are not just small inconveniences or things to wait and see. These could be the early warning signs of something serious, like a stroke or a heart problem. And catching them early could truly save your life or someone you love. Before we start, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Just drop your state or city in the comments below. And if you have any natural health tips of your own, feel free to share those too. Someone else might really benefit from hearing what's worked for you. Point 1. Sudden weakness on one side of the body. Let's talk about something that might not seem urgent at first, but truly is. If you wake up in the morning and notice that one side of your body feels weaker than the other, even a little, don't ignore it. Whether it's your right arm feeling heavier or your left leg not moving the way it usually does, this could be your body's way of warning you about a stroke. And here's something most people don't know. Many strokes actually happen while you're asleep. So when you wake up, the damage may already have started. Now, I know what some of you might think. Maybe I slept on my arm funny, or it'll go away in a bit. But this kind of weakness, especially if it's just on one side, is one of the clearest signs that your brain isn't getting the blood it needs. A stroke happens when blood can't reach part of your brain, either because of a clot or bleeding. That part of the brain can't send signals to your muscles. That's why your arm might feel like it's not yours. Or your leg doesn't want to support your weight. It's not just age. It's not just sleep. It's a possible emergency. Let me put it this way. If you open your eyes and one half of your body doesn't seem to wake up with you, that's not something to wait on. Time matters more than anything in these moments. The faster you act, the more likely it is you'll avoid permanent damage. You might even make a full recovery with treatment and therapy, just like many others have. But if you wait, if you convince yourself that it's nothing, you could be risking your independence, your speech, even your life. So here's what I want you to remember. If your face feels uneven, your arm feels weak, or your leg won't cooperate, call for help. Don't stand up and try to walk it off. Don't wait and see if it gets better. Your health is far too important to gamble with. You've lived long enough to know that sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. Trust yourself, trust your body, and take action when something feels off, especially first thing in the morning. Point 2. Difficulty speaking or slurred words. Now let's talk about something that can feel confusing and even a little frightening. Waking up and struggling to speak properly. Imagine this. You open your eyes, sit up, and try to say good morning, but what comes out of your mouth doesn't sound right. Maybe the words are slurred, maybe they're jumbled, or maybe you can't seem to say what you're trying to say at all. You know the words in your head, but your mouth just won't cooperate. If that ever happens to you, don't brush it off. This kind of speech trouble isn't just morning grogginess, or something caused by dry mouth or a bad night's sleep. It can be one of the first signs of a stroke, especially if it comes on suddenly and wasn't there the day before. You might feel fine otherwise, and that's why it's so dangerous. It's easy to think, I just need coffee, or I must be tired. But when your words don't come out the way they should, your brain could be in trouble, even if the rest of your body feels okay. You see, your brain controls everything: movement, memory, and language. And there are specific areas in the brain responsible for how you speak and understand words. When blood can't reach those areas, even for a short time, your ability to speak clearly can be affected instantly. That's why it's so important to take this seriously if it happens first thing in the morning. If you or someone close to you suddenly can't form sentences or their speech sounds off, get help right away. I'll also say this. Many older adults are quick to minimize things. I'm just getting old, they say. But you know your body better than anyone. You know how you normally sound. If your voice doesn't feel right, or your speech isn't clear, trust that instinct. Don't wait to see if it wears off. Stroke treatment only works best if it's given quickly, within a short window of time. So remember, slurred, slow, or mixed up speech isn't something to ignore, especially when it shows up out of nowhere in the morning. If it happens, act fast. Call for medical help even if you're unsure, because catching it early could mean the difference between a full recovery and a life forever changed. Point 3. Sudden vision problems. When you wake up, now let's talk about your eyesight, because sometimes your eyes can be the first part of your body to send you a quiet warning. If you ever wake up in the morning and notice that your vision is suddenly different, blurry, patchy, or even partially gone in one eye, please don't just assume it's age or something that will clear up after a few blinks. Sudden vision changes can be an early sign of a stroke or other serious issue, especially if it comes on without warning. Think about it like this. Your eyes are directly connected to your brain. So if blood flow to the part of your brain that handles vision is interrupted, even for a short while, it can affect what you see. Some people notice a gray shadow, a black spot, or feel like one eye is turned off. Others say it's like looking through water or fog. It may not hurt, and that's exactly why it gets ignored. But when you lose part of your vision all of a sudden, even for a few minutes, that's your body asking for help. This isn't the same as needing new glasses or feeling sleepy, and it's not something you should sleep off or wait to see if it gets better. Because if the cause is a mini stroke or full stroke, waiting can lead to permanent damage, not just to your vision, but to your brain, your independence, your quality of life. The truth is, many people don't even realize they've had a stroke until days later, all because they thought their vision was just a little off from tiredness or poor lighting. Let me give you a little reassurance here too. If this happens to you, and you act quickly, go to the emergency room or call for help, there are treatments that can reduce the damage and even bring your vision back. That's why noticing these small things matters so much. Your body isn't just breaking down, it's talking to you. You just need to learn how to listen to it. So if one morning you find that your sight seems different, blurred, blocked, or fading, don't ignore it. Don't wait for it to return. Check in with a doctor right away. It could be a false alarm, and that's okay. But if it's something more serious, early action could be what protects your sight, your mind, and your life. Point 4. Sudden loss of balance or coordination. Let's talk about something that many people blame on age, but can actually be something much more serious. If you get out of bed in the morning and feel unsteady on your feet, or like the room is spinning, or your legs aren't cooperating with you, don't just chalk it up to stiffness or a bad night's sleep. A sudden loss of balance or coordination can be a warning sign that your brain is not getting the signals it needs. And yes, it could be a sign of a stroke or a mini stroke, also known as a TIA. Here's what often happens. You swing your legs off the bed, try to stand up, and suddenly feel like the floor shifted. You might stumble, need to grab onto something, or feel like you're leaning to one side. It can feel disorienting or even embarrassing, and a lot of older adults try to shake it off. They think, oh, I must have gotten up too fast, or I didn't stretch enough. But the truth is, your sense of balance depends on your brain, your eyes, your ears, and your muscles all working together. If even one part of that system isn't working right, it can throw everything off. What makes this tricky is that many older people are already used to a little wobbliness. So when a real emergency happens, it can go unnoticed. But the kind of imbalance we're talking about here is sudden. It wasn't there yesterday, and it hits you the moment you try to move. That's not just getting older. That's a signal. Something in your brain, possibly blood flow, isn't doing its job properly. There's also an emotional side to this. When your balance goes, even for a few seconds, it can shake your confidence. You start to worry about falling, getting hurt, or losing your independence. And when people are afraid of falling, they often stop moving as much. That leads to more weakness, more fear, and sadly, sometimes depression or isolation. So what starts as a small balance issue can affect your whole life if it's ignored. But it doesn't have to. If you notice your body suddenly not working the way it usually does, if you feel off-center, like your steps are unsure, or your coordination is suddenly gone, don't wait to fall. Get checked out. Even if it turns out to be nothing, you'll have peace of mind. And if it's something serious, catching it early can prevent something worse. Point 5. Chest tightness or pressure upon waking. Now let's talk about a symptom that far too many people brush aside. Chest tightness or pressure when you first wake up. It might not be a sharp pain. In fact, it often feels more like someone's sitting on your chest, or like there's a belt wrapped tightly around it. Some people describe it as heaviness, fullness, or even a burning sensation. You might sit up and hope it passes. Maybe you think, it's probably just indigestion, especially if you ate late the night before. But if that feeling is new, unusual, or doesn't go away after a few minutes, it could be something much more serious, like a heart attack. What many folks don't know is that heart attacks often happen in the early morning hours, between 5 and 10 a.m. That's when your body's stress hormones are naturally higher, your blood is a bit thicker, and your heart is working a little harder to wake you up. If your arteries already have some buildup or blockage, this extra stress can be just enough to cause a heart attack, before you've even had your first sip of coffee. And here's the thing, it doesn't always show up like it does in the movies. You might not clutch your chest or collapse to the floor. It might feel more like discomfort that moves to your shoulder, jaw, back, or arm. Or it could come with other strange symptoms, like shortness of breath, nausea, cold sweat, or feeling unusually tired. That's why trusting your instinct is so important. If you feel something you've never felt before, and it worries you even a little, don't wait. There's also a trap here, especially for older men. Many don't want to make a fuss. They're afraid of going to the hospital and being told it's nothing. But here's the truth. The hospital is the best place to find that out. If it really is indigestion, great, you'll go home. But if it's your heart, getting help early can save your life. Heart muscle begins to die quickly when it doesn't get enough oxygen. The faster you act, the more of your heart can be saved, and the stronger your recovery can be. So if you wake up and your chest feels tight, heavy, or just plain off, don't lie back down and hope it fades. This is your heart we're talking about. It's carried you through years of life. Treat it with care. Call for help and let the professionals check you out. You're not being dramatic, you're being smart. You're protecting the life you've worked so hard to build. Each morning when we open our eyes, we expect the day to start like usual. We stretch, sit up, maybe plan what's for breakfast or what needs to be done around the house. But as we get older, we also need to pay closer attention to the quiet signals our body sends, especially in those first few minutes after waking up. These small, unexpected changes, weakness, slurred speech, blurry vision, balance issues, or chest discomfort, aren't just part of aging. Sometimes they're warnings, whispers from your body asking you to pay attention before something bigger happens. So tomorrow morning, and the next after that, take a moment to check in with your body. How do you feel? Is anything different? Anything unusual? Don't panic, but don't ignore the things that feel off, because your body is always speaking to you. Sometimes in whispers, sometimes in nudges. And when you learn to listen to those small changes, you give yourself a better chance to enjoy more days, more memories, more moments that matter. And now I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you learned from today's video? How will it change the way you approach your mornings? Please share in the comments below. Your story could help someone else feel less alone and more prepared. If you found this helpful, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next conversation. We're here to support each other one day and one healthy morning at a time.